A locker and big tires will get you pretty far off-road, but we all know if you push it hard enough, sooner or later you may need to self-recover. So today we're installing a 10,000 pound worn winch into a Motobilt winch bumper on the giveaway Gladiator. Yes, it's finally happening. We are installing a bumper and a winch on the front of the giveaway Gladiator. For our winch, we chose one of the most iconic names in winching, and that is Warn. This is the VR EVO Series 10-S. Features 10,000 pounds of pulling power and a synthetic rope. For the bumper, we're going with a Motobilt Crusher Series. Motobilt builds products from mild to wild, from bolt-on products like this Crusher Series bumper to complete weld-in assemblies, and we're excited to have them here on the giveaway Gladiator. So to start pulling things apart, we want to get on top here and pull out these little locking pins. You got to pull the center up. Whoa, hey, there goes one. And then the body comes right out. Then we got to take apart that plug. Remember that one up front that we had to move out of the way for the reservoir on the Fox shocks? Well, we'll just push right in on this little pin, pull, and she's disconnected. Okay, so now normally there'd be a splash pan right down here, just a couple bolts and a couple push pins to pull out. We removed that when we did the suspension lift just so we could make it easier to get at things. For the bumper itself, there are 8 nuts total, 2 on each side of each frame rail. So we have 2 here, 2 here, there's 2 on the outside here, and 2 all the way over on the other side. So get a 18mm socket and your ratchet in there and start removing. Bumper. Okay, we're going to start out with mounting the winch mounting plate. And we want to hold it right up against the front frame horns. And I just grabbed a couple 7/16" bolts. And we're just going to use these temporarily to hold this in place. We want to make sure that the holes in the winch mounting plate and the frame horns are lined up. And then Motobilt includes these little flag nuts underneath here, and bolt the lower bolt in. Slip the flag nut in place. Okay, we do need to attach the ground lead to the back of the winch. Flat washer, lock washer, and then the nut. Carry the winch over and set our cables in place. We have the square nuts that go down right into the feet of the winch itself. Then we'll take our winch bolts, throw a little blue Loctite on them, and come up through the mounting plate. And then tighten them up. Now we want to make sure our lower bolts are tight. And the bumper has the 4 bolts on the back of the bumper, and it's going to slide in, so we do need to remove these guys. Motobilt has designed this bumper to accept multiple different winches. Since we're using the Warn winch, we need to put this little spacer plate in here. And then for our Fairlead, the VR series does come with this nice aluminum Fairlead. but we wanted to step the game up a little bit, and we are going with this Epic series Fairlead. Okay, run our bolt up from down below, the washer, and then our nut. That went on pretty easy. Then the bolts that went to the factory front splash guard are going to go in down through this lower slot. And you got to kind of contortion your fingers down in there to get it started. Now to help fish those wires up into the Jeep, we'll use this great big zip tie that we've cut the end off of, and we can just tape it all together. You could also use a coat hanger or piece of TIG rod, whatever you might happen to have to help you fish something up in. All right, now once we're up here, we got to figure out where we're going to run it. Run our negative cable right there. And we can fish our positive cable and run it right there. Always hook your positive cable up first. And then our negative cable. And then we'll just do some zip ties and clean this wiring up. All right, so most Warn winches come with just the classic 3/8 inch Warn winch hook. Nothing fancy. Does have this nice little handhold to pull it out, to pull your line out with. But we've got to do something a little bit better. So we're going to go with the Warn Epic Sidewinder. And this is kind of a cross between a hard shackle and a hook, if you want to call it that. It's going to attach to the end of our rope. And then you can hook it right to another attachment point, whether it be a attachment point on somebody's bumper, or whether it be a hard shackle or a soft shackle. And once it's locked in, you don't have a chance of it coming off. So this is what you would call a closed loop winching system. To install the Warn Sidewinder, you need a pair of needle nose, and we're going to reach in there and pull this little snap clip out. The pin drops out. Then we can take our rope, slide it in, pin goes back in, and then our snap ring. And make sure that snap ring gets seated all the way in. All right, the new Warn VR series features their new 2-in-1 wired wireless remote. You can run it wired just by plugging it in, or you can run it wireless. So for the first time using our remote, we do want to plug it in. Let's plug the cord into the bottom of the remote. And then we can take the other end of the cord, flip this little cover up, and plug it in. Now you see this light come on. It's telling you that we are in the wired mode. Now before we touch that end, I'm gonna throw a pair of gloves on. Just because it's always good practice to always have gloves on anytime you're gonna touch your winch rope or winch cable. So now we'll hold our Epic Sidewinder out and go ahead and start pulling it in. So the Sidewinder sits flat right up against your Fairlead. You do want to make sure your pin is tight. Now to go wireless, we can just unplug the cord. And you'll see this blue light has now come on. That's telling us that the wireless remote is ready to go. So let's just give it a quick test. Put my glove back on here. And let's go out. And then right back in. So that's the new 2-in-1 wired wireless remote from Warn, and it comes with this VR EVO Series 10S. So there you have it. A Crusher Series bumper by Motobilt loaded with a Warn VR winch. What do you think? Leave us a comment down below. Tell us what you think about the style of the Motobilt bumper. And also, what do you think about that 2-in-1, that wired wireless remote from Warn? We think that's pretty cool. What do you think? While you're down there, check the description box. You'll find links there that you can get a Crusher Series Motobilt bumper for your Jeep, a Warn VR Series 10S winch, and of course those Warn Epic pieces. You'll also find a link there where you can get more information on this giveaway Gladiator and how you can enter to win. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, thanks Northridge Nation.
Tim?
Well, it's one of those funny things. You know, sometimes when you're bolting a lot of parts together, well, part A fits, part B fits, part C fits. But sometimes you can't get part A to fit, part B to fit, and part C to fit all together. So as we were trying to put the bumper on, it was hitting the Fox reservoir and the bracket. So we need to move these out of the way to get that Motobilt bumper on. The problem is it's so close to the anti-rock, we might have to play with some interesting mounting to get this all to work. So sometimes that just happens.